The citizenship law seems to have really divided people across the country. And with me today is someone who has taken a stand on it and spoken very openly on it, taken a stand which is different from his party's line. With me is JDU's Prashant Kishor. Thank you very much for speaking with Hindustan Times. I want to start off by asking you about these. You've been tweeting a lot about this. You're speaking now, but you've been tweeting a lot about this. And one of the things, you've been saying is that it's completely wrong, that your party shouldn't take it. Of course, your party took a different position. I wanted to ask you that, what does your party think about your position?
Well, I don't know what party thinks about my position, but party has voted for this, and my stance is out in public domain as well. I think it's not the right thing for the country, and all right-minded Indians should oppose the combination of CAA and NRC.
Are you the inner conscience of the JDU speaking up, whereas the outward one is going on? Is that what it is? Because we haven't seen the JDU take any action against you, Prashant Kishor. And we hear about the fact that they're deliberating. So are you like, is it also in a way taking care of, both constituencies?
No, that's not what is driving this. I have taken a stance what I think is right and is consistent with what is my assessment of Nitish Kumar's thinking and his positioning on some of these issues. And if it means a certain implications in terms of your political journey and positions in the party and otherwise, I don't think that matters that much.
And JDU is, of course, a key part of the NDA. What does Chief Minister Nitish Kumar think? Has he spoken to you at all?
Yes.
Since you've expressed
yes,
it?
Yes. See, JDU is part of NDA, but if you look at the history, there have been many issues on which JDU and BJP have completely different positions. So I do not see a problem on that count that you disagree with BJP on certain issues and still are in government or running a government in Bihar in coalition with them. There are two different things. People have to understand. See, you form a coalition because the arithmetic is of the state is such, or politically it is the necessity to form a government in order to implement what you want to implement. And it's a completely different thing to support a position which is not ideologically consistent with what you would like to support, or something that could lay the foundation of discrimination based on religion, class, or caste. These are two different things. So the decision to be in government, to run Bihar government, and oppose to pieces of legislation, whether it is 370, Ram Mandir, Uniform Civil Code, CAA or NRC, these are completely different issues.
But what is strange is the fact that we saw Chief Minister, one of the things that you tweeted was opposition parties have now taken a stand against CAA and NRC. Now it's up to the other chief ministers. We've seen Naveen Patnaik say very clearly right now that NRC will not be allowed in Odisha. We haven't seen your chief minister say the same.
I first you have to see why I'm saying that it is time for the non-BJP chief ministers to take a stance. The reason being that BJP is, to my mind, BJP is well within their democratic right to try to implement CAA and NRC because this has been their stated position. This was part of their agenda, was clearly mentioned in their manifesto, and people have voted for them. So they should and they could try to implement this. While this is truth, the other side of the truth is that this agenda has got 39% vote. That gives them the biggest majority. That is fine. But 61% people did not support that agenda. Who represents this 61% people? The combined opposition. So as much BJP has right to push and implement their agenda, these 60 combined opposition has the equal right. And hence, I am suggesting that those who are opposed to the agenda, specifically in the context of CAA and NRC, they should stand up and they should say no to NRC in their respective states. This 16 chief ministers issue is also linked to that, because in 16 chief states we have non-BJP chief ministers. These 16 states account for 65% of Indian population.
Sure.
And I am of firm opinion that NRC or a CAA cannot be implemented in the state unless the state governments chooses to cooperate
But
with the
CAA,
center.
they're going on saying, has nothing to do with state governments. Why are states saying that?
But this is where the whole confusion is. See, no one is challenging the center's right to legislate on the issues that fall within the purview of center.
Right.
No one is fool not to understand that part. But practically, how are you going to execute either of these two unless the state government and the machinery of the state governments comes on board? We have seen NRC being done in Assam.
Sure, that's true of NRC. Okay.
No, so I'm just coming to it.
Right.
NRC being done in Assam. The whole state machinery under the supervision of Supreme Court was working day and night, 3 years, to produce the NRC, which anyway many are calling it flawed, including BJP. So you explain, someone need to explain to me that what means central government has to overcome if a state government says that we are not going to let NRC happen in my state, by what means center is going to execute that NRC in that particular state. Then people are making an argument that in that case center can take legal action. What legal action center can take? Are we to say that center is going to take
Agreed.
the state
That's
governments
true
to
of
the court?
Yeah.
Or some are even saying that they can use 356 to dismiss a government. So are we to say that the central government is going to dismiss 10, 11, 12 state governments that are democratically elected? Assume for a minute that central government is so determined that they will use 356 and they will dismiss, say, 10 plus governments.
They haven't said that though.
No, I'm saying assume. Those who are making argument on social media, it is for your viewers to understand.
Sure.
Assume that central government takes that action. What happens after 356? Within 6 months, there will be again election in that state. And if the same government or the same party or the same leader gets elected, are we going to go on dismissing the state governments for all times to come?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to tell you is that practically it is just not possible unless states are on board. Central government, no matter what the law is, cannot
Prashant
implement
Kishor,
it on the ground.
In CAA, they can give citizenship to whoever they want.
Yeah, and so people are not opposed to the idea of central government giving citizenship to anyone who they identify. But even for the identification purpose, how are you going to identify?
No, there is an application process.
But so long
it's only by application.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is no problem. But I'm saying unless you do the NRC, there is no comprehensive implementation of CAA as well.
I understand. Okay. But, to me, that's right. But you still haven't answered my question of saying that Nitish Kumar, what is his position? What is your leader's position?
His position.
You are obviously pained by it, Prashant.
No.
I can see your tweets, right? And you're saying 69 people have voted or 61% has voted against this. You're pained by it.
Not against this. Against the overall agenda of
Modi. Then what is it that your own leader, the party that you have allegiance to, what does your leader feel about it?
My leader has clearly said it in the past, and he has reassured me that we do not see the need for NRC in Bihar.
But why isn't he saying it publicly?
He will say it publicly.
Why isn't he now?
He is on the tour of Jal Jeevan Haryali Yatra. He has said it that as soon as he finishes that yatra,
he will say it.
And if media asks him today, I'm sure he will.
We didn't hear him say anything about the Ram Temple verdict either.
No, he did make a statement to all media.
Welcoming it.
I think we said that we respect the decision.
But the thing is that we are not hearing clear position. Yesterday, another colleague of yours, who is also upset about this, who said his position is tenable, Pawan Verma says that Nitish Kumar should make his position very, very clear.
But it is for the media also. Sometimes if you go as a media and ask him, he will.
He is never accessible. We've been asking for interviews.
So that could be true for many other leaders as well.
See, the problem is that we are seeing, and maybe your party is.
I tell you something. You are saying that Nitish Kumar has not come out himself and said anything against NRC.
Yeah.
Have you heard anything from Rahul Gandhi on this?
Yes.
No. On NRC?
He's talked
No.
about the protest.
Congress? No. Congress president. NRC in Assam
They
is
went to
an.
just- they just went to the president.
Hold on. Let
Yeah.
me put in the perspective. They have gone to president for the CAA. NRC issue is burning. If you're referring to my tweets, since September we have been raising
Right.
this issue. Show me a single tweet from Rahul Gandhi or the Congress president saying that we are opposed to NRC. Because we have to understand this fundamental thing. Unless NRC is done, by and large, there is not a major crisis. The major problem happens when you combine
So
CAA
you're saying
with
even
NRC.
the Congress is problematic because they're only talking about CAA.
Not only CAA, now they're talking about NRC, but on NRC, Captain Amrinder Singh has said, no, nothing doing, I'll not let let this happen in my state. I've heard in different words similar things from Mr. Baghel, who is the Chief Minister in Chhattisgarh, and probably from Kamal Nath ji as well. What about Mr. Ashok Gehlot? Why Congress Chief Ministers cannot come if they think that this is illegal or anti-constitution, against the constitution, then they should come out in public and say, in our states, like Mamta ji has said, like Amrinder Singh ji has said, like Mr. Penry Vijayan has said, like many others have said, why can't they come and make the similar statement? So why are you singling out Nitish Kumar?
Well, because that's because
But I'm a state, no.
And you're a representative of
But I'm
Nitish
stating
Kumar.
that, I'm stating with full responsibility that so far NRC in Bihar is concerned, Nitish Kumar's stance is that no need of any NRC in Bihar.
Well, that's interesting. I want to ask you then, isn't it hypocritical? Your party goes and you just now said that the link, it is inextricably linked.
Yes.
Then why isn't it hypocritical of your party to vote for CAA in Parliament, help it through, and then come out and say no NRC?
So I wouldn't call
And
it...
Naveen Patnaik did the same thing. It's hypocritical, isn't it?
I wouldn't call it hypocritical, but it is their understanding of the CAA where probably they did not necessarily see as entangled as it is to our mind with NRC. So they probably took a stance on CAA, assuming, as being told and claimed, that this is just an act to give citizenship, not to deprive anyone.
Are you telling me?
No, I'm not telling anything. I'm saying what they would have factored in when they voted for it. There is no transaction per se which would have induced them to vote. I'm saying they would have understood it. I can only guess. It is for you to ask Nitish Kumar and it is for you to ask Mr. Naveen Patnaik that why did they vote. And I think Mr. Naveen Patnaik almost said the same thing, that we supported it because we thought this is to give citizenship to someone. But we are not supporting an exercise which deprives somebody.
But isn't it very difficult to buy that, Prashant Kishor? When
That's the choice which you and your viewers have to make.
No, yeah, okay. You're saying that, okay, you make up your own. Because why is difficult?
Ideal position is that if you're opposed to CAA, you should be opposed to NRC and vice versa. That's the position we have put in the public domain.
So when you were tweeting this, what did your CM say to you about it? Your tweets?
No, what he says to me and what I tell him, that remains between both of us. But I'm telling you publicly that
he will oppose.
There is no NRC in Bihar so long Nitish Kumar ji is there. This is what he has assured me. I'm sure sooner or later he will come out in public domain and will say the same thing.
Will that lead to a rift, or even he's walked out of the NDA before? Will it happen then?
That I don't know. That's all hypothetical
Ahead of elections?
thing. But you have to also realize that there are many issues on which JDU and BJP have opposing ideas. So
especially on secular issues.
I do not call it secular communal, but I'm saying there have been many issues on which these two parties did not share a same stance.
Okay, let's change track a little bit. You talked about chief ministers and you said how Mamata Banerjee, along with other chief ministers, led it. Your team, your organization that you founded, which is a strategy team, which is IPAC, is helping Mamata Banerjee right now. What do you assess the impact of her movement? We've seen huge mobilization by her in the last few days on this issue of the Citizenship Amendment and the issue of NRC. What do you think the impact is going to be on the Bengal polls?
See, I firmly believe that if you are opposed to an idea, you have to stand against it. Because as they say, if an idea goes unopposed, it becomes reality. What impact it will have on poll? My understanding, not much. Contrary to what the popular perception or analysis is, I don't think elections are fought only on one piece. When the elections in Bengal will happen, it will happen to elect the government which people of Bengal think is in the best interest of the state. They are not going to be necessarily voting only on a piece of legislation. And even if, suppose, for an argument's sake, even if it is electorally going to be costing, still it is worth fighting if you are opposed to the idea.
And as an election strategist, and as a,
winning or losing poll cannot be the be all and end all of the life.
So I want to ask you, not as a JDU politician, but as just someone who advises her right now professionally, is that where do you see her chances right now? In BJP, it's a, the BJP did tremendously well in the Lok Sabha polls, and yet in the recent by-polls, Mamata has swept the polls.
So you have answered on my behalf.
No. So I want to know. So that's a confusing signal. Is she in trouble, or
See, anyone who has to fight election is in some bit of trouble and is a bit on the safer side, because you can lose or win any election. Yes, it is a formidable challenge for her. There is no one can deny that. But it's too early to put the prediction, wear the prediction cap and say whether she's going to win or lose. It's too early. Still, elections are 15 months.
This whole thing about Jai Shri Ram, I
haven't heard any Jai Shri Ram in last.
No, not last. I know, but I'm just saying that it has become.
See, this country is as much for Jai Shri Ram as for Hey Ram. So there's no contradiction. So if I'm a believer, or if I hero worship Gandhi, that is Hey Ram. And if someone wants to say Jai Shri Ram, that is also fine.
No, but her kind of opposition to it, and the kind
no,
of.
No, not opposed to Jai Shri Ram. It is the perception that has been created. I just had an opportunity to see her during Durga Puja. She goes to hundreds of Durga Puja pandals. She opens those pujas. She chants mantras. She offers prayers. She does aartis. Everything that what a normal Hindu families do. So this whole idea that she is opposed to a particular line or a particular slogan is more of I would say it's a perception that has been created.
I understand what you're saying, but I just wanted to ask you that, I know that you're saying that's what's being created, but has the BJP, again, I'm telling you to put on your strategist cap and say that has the BJP in a way been successful in their projections of these issues? And is that impacting, is that harming her?
No, I don't have that understanding right now. Whether she is strong or weak is largely function of how she runs the government there. It's not because who is chanting a particular slogan and whether she is opposed to it or supportive of that. People vote for a party or against it based on their performance, what they do, what they promise, how credible they are. It's not because you just support a chant, a particular slogan, or you're opposed to a particular slogan.
So if we, that's something that you don't want to predict. But if I take you to what's already happened, and in one that you saw very closely, because IPAC also, your organization also worked with Shiv Sena. If you now look at an analysis of Maharashtra election, which threw up a huge surprise, would you say that decisively that 370, because it happened soon after 370, right? Would you say that what didn't work and what benefited other parties was the fact that 370 didn't work?
See, this, again, I repeat, this obsession to put a cause and effect relationship.
Yeah.
That 370 happened, hence XYZ is going to win election. Or this legislation has come, hence it will affect a party one way or other. I don't think people vote only on these lines. 15 months down the line, what people will remember, what they will factor in while they go to vote is.
So I'll put it to you differently. What happened in Maharashtra? What is
I have
your
no idea. I've got little involvement with Maharashtra. IPAC was there in a very limited sense. And what happened in Maharashtra, it is for you guys to judge and assess.
The last time I interviewed you, we had a conversation about Priyanka Gandhi. And at that time, Priyanka just, launched. She just started as a general secretary. She was just announced as a general secretary. And I remember that, you in Uttar Pradesh, you worked and you said that was always your idea. Now it's been...
No, I never said that was my idea.
No, but that was something that you were, you were supportive of, that
Yes.
idea that she should be at the forefront of it. We've now seen about, I think, a year of it, a year of Priyanka Gandhi leading the forefront. What is your assessment?
I have no capability to assess.
Just as an observer,
I think it's too early. I would still say what I've said on the day when her coming to politics was announced. You do not judge a political career of person of her stature going by a day or an election or a month or a year. You want to compare it with late Indiraji's career 1 year in politics. Would anyone have predicted that she will become as dominant political force as she actually ended up becoming? Or for that matter, Mr. Modi 1 year in the politics. So I think it's a very unfair assessment to try to make a sense looking at how she has gone in last 6 months or 8 months. We'll have to wait and see a couple of years, and then you have to give some time to anyone. It's not only to her.
but they've been very cautious of just limiting it to Uttar Pradesh or, well, there's been one rally.
On those things, I can't comment. It's their decision it's their choice, whatever decision they make. But I'm saying as an observer or as a commentator or as a journalist, you cannot write in or write off any political career based on what is visible to you or what you are able to see in last 6 months, 8 months. That's a little bit harsh.
So you didn't tell us about what Nitish Kumar said to you and otherwise, but at the end of it, just to sum up.
Nitish Kumar, I told you what Nitish Kumar
Yeah.
has told is that our stance on NRC is going to be the same as it was before, which is there is no need of NRC in Bihar.
No need of NRC in Bihar. Do you think that, are you going to continue to be as vocal as that, or do you also agree with Pawan Verma's stand of saying that, the position becomes very untenable? He has said that his position in JDU is very untenable right now because he is totally opposed to it and the party doesn't seem to be opposed to it. Would you say you're in the same position?
No, I don't see it.
Why? What is the difference?
Maybe I'm new. I don't understand politics that much. See, if you look at my tweet, I barely tweet. But I think that if I feel strongly about an issue, which I think I understand, if not in great detail, at least I understand it fairly good, and I'm opposed to this, then I must express my point of view. Ideally, yes, if our party is, my view is the same as that of party, it's better. But if it is not, just to remain a politician or to remain associated with a political party, if I have to make compromise with the fundamental principle, I don't think even Nitish Kumar would like that.
Okay, that sounds really interesting. Thank you so much, Prashant.
Thank you.